He is a man with a heart, a man full of sensitivity to the needs of the country. Today we have this subject, subversion of democracy. And I think that word subversion may be a bit mild and diluted word.
Man with a heart.
Today, I'm just back from a one-day hunger strike we had in support of Sonam Wangchuk, Neha Bora, Manish, and Amin, people who have been fasting for last 21 days. And so the way the government, the police came and arrested Sonam Wangchuk, and the way the government has been functioning during these last years, we say it's a murder of democracy. So I heartily welcome Dr. Purvanand and to enlighten us, to sensitize us on this topic. Most welcome, Dr. Purvanand.
Thank you, Father Anand. Thank you, Father Purvanand.
1 minute, Prema, I wanted to say that Dr. Purvanand has a very handsome face, but due to technical problems, we are not able to see him. That's a big loss. At the same time, we shall fully concentrate on his words. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Anand. In fact, I wanted to say we heard a lot about him, but we wanted to see, so we don't have the luck, but we have the luck to listen to him right now. So, Dr. Apurvanand, welcome to this session. You have 35 minutes in your hand. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know what, but sometimes technology looks as if it has made things easy. And I'm very sorry for having kept you waiting for 15 minutes. But so thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me here and for the generous and friendly introduction that you gave. The topic today that we are going to discuss is subversion of democracy. There are many words we now use for the state of democracy that India is in. One is erosion, second is subversion. There are people who use the term demolition, and another verb was used, murder of democracy. So there are two, I would say, we can imagine two agents, one who is murdering and the other entity which is being murdered. But democracy is not some inert thing. What is being murdered is people's will. And this is what we see happening before our eyes. This morning we read the news of Gitanjali moving to the court, Delhi High Court, to secure the rights of Sonam Wangchuk and her rights to decide what should happen to and what should be done to his health, to his well-being, because he has been literally abducted from Jantar Mantar and detained. Gitanjali is not being able to, or she is not allowed to decide the course of treatment that Sonam Wangchuk should take. And that is something some people wrote is unprecedented and unheard of. It didn't even happen in the days of, as they say, the worst days that one imagines in India, and I think wrongly, the days of emergency. But let me just read a Facebook post with which my morning began. And this is a post by someone who is in West Bengal, Dwapayan Banerjee. And he writes, "It was bound to happen eventually, and yesterday it did. The relentless erosion of people's freedom to practice their faith has finally hit close to home. Today, just before I was about to teach a class at Rokaya, one of my students approached me visibly shaken. She told me that their prayer meeting had been attacked the day before. The incident took place in the Garia area. Both of her parents are deeply involved in a local Protestant group. Her father is a pastor, and her mother runs the women's Bible study classes. While 19 female devotees from their group were gathered at the home of another member, a crowd of nearly 50 people suddenly surrounded the house and began banging violently on the window panes. The mob included 4 or 5 women, but the rest were men. The crowd aggressively accused the women of running a conversion racket, a charge they flatly denied. They then tried to force the women to chant Jai Shri Ram, which they steadfastly refused to do. Next, the men turned their attention to the shakapola, traditional conch and coral bangles, and sindoor on the women's foreheads, demanding to know why they were wearing them. What the mob failed to realize that Bengali Christians have embraced these cultural symbols for generations. When the women refused to remove them, one of them explained that they wear them for protection, feeling increasingly unsafe due to rising tide of sexual violence. In a chilling response, one of the men shouted back that rapes need to happen and should happen. After a barrage of shouting and threats, the women were ordered to leave. They had no choice but to follow the command given how volatile the situation had become. Of course, they were told that in a Hindu Rashtra, they dare not preach. The family and devotees are deeply traumatized and looking for help, though they understandably lack the confidence to approach the police right now. I have already reached out to local organizations and human rights groups, etc. Uh, so, this is a post from uh, West Bengal. And there is another post from West Bengal itself, which I would like to read. Uh, I do not know what the social situation is like in North India, but Bengal, especially after the election, is passing through an extremely disturbing phase. A video has surfaced showing a 6-year-old sitting in a no man's land. She says she has neither eaten nor bathed for 3 days. In response to that helpless child, one person commented, "Keep them starving in detention camps, invite tenders, and sell them as slaves." Another wrote, "They should be used for scientific experiments." Yet another said, "Many medical students do not get skeletons for their studies. These people could." This is what happens when the far right comes to dominate a large section of society. It happened in Hitler's Germany, it's happening in Israel. An entire community is singled out as the enemy, and cruelty towards them becomes a collective celebration and turns into a competition over who can make the most inhuman comment, who can invent the most grotesque and creative methods of torture. Those making such remarks feel no guilt because they no longer see the people they are talking about as human beings. They see them as vermin, as garbage, people whose lives are expendable. I heard that in 2023, Sarah Navin, an employee in the office of Netanyahu's wife, allegedly suggested tearing out the fingernails of Palestinian prisoners and skinning them. She also allegedly said that genitals should be cut off, fried, and fed back to Palestinians. She even said that their tongue should not be cut out so that their screams could still be heard. I also remember that in 2014, when Palestinian children were being burnt alive under Israeli bombardment, some Zionists gathered on a nearby hill with food and drink to watch the spectacle. Here in Bengal, the government is looking for land to build detention centers. At a time like this, there is an urgent need for solidarity from academia, journalists, and artists. During the NRC movement, there was at least some coordination. This time, however, there is only silence and darkness. So, this is a young man from West Bengal. Uh, I have just come from a meeting of in solidarity with the industrial workers of Noida, uh, who led a struggle 2 months back. And some students and artists joined them to express their solidarity with their struggle. Uh, all they were demanding was minimum wages. They were surviving on 8,000 rupees to 10,000 rupees per month. And they wanted a raise, 13,000, 18,000 maybe, to live a half decent life. That is all they were demanding. But uh, they suffered violence at the hand of Delhi police, and now many of them are in jail, and draconian sections under NSA and UAPA have been slapped on them. Some of our students have been abducted from our university campus and put in jail. NSA has been slapped on them. And the police alleges that the students and artists had conspired to instigate violence uh, when the when the workers were on strike. So I'm coming from that meeting. In that meeting, there was a gathering of students uh, and workers and people from other society, and I could see desperation on the faces of uh, all those present in the hall, because we knew the situation we are in, and we are at a loss. We don't know how to deal with this situation. I'm where I'm sitting, India International Center. It's a cozy place, and it's very close to Jantar Mantar. And Jantar Mantar, from where Sonam Wangchuk was abducted uh, yesterday, and it has been surrounded and barricaded by police and rapid action force personnel. Students are there. There is a but the number of people entering Jantar Mantar is increasing, and I was told that now it's very difficult to get in because the numbers have increased, and now nearly 10,000 people are there at Jantar Mantar. So why I said this? Because we began with the question whether democracy is dying, whether democracy is being demolished, whether it's being murdered. But there are two sides. One, after all is democracy? In democracy, the word demos is very important. Demos is people, and people is a collective of individuals who can think about themselves, who can think that they can think and they can decide for themselves, uh, and they think that they have the sovereignty, and it's not the state which has created them, it's not the nation which has created them, but it's they who have parented this nation, who have parented this state. And the state and the nation, uh, these two entities, or the nation state, is a creature of the people. Are the people being able, are they able to exercise their agency? And this is the struggle that I see going on presently in India. It's a very tough tussle because the government is trying to control and subjugate the people. Uh, and to do that, it has been using different methods, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But then again, there is a struggle uh, in which people are also involved. This morning only, my students from Madhya Pradesh informed me that Adivasis in the Kane Betwa area uh, are amidst a very difficult struggle. And today, a man, Bhatnagar, he was lifted from that protest site where they are trying to save their land, and they are fighting against the government project of linking these two rivers, Ken and Betwa. And Adivasis are waging a very valiant battle. Today they were removed. Uh, the man who was fasting as part of the struggle, he was again taken away from the protest site, and that too in the name of saving his life. But that struggle is going on there. Then there is another struggle that is going on in Odisha, and there Adivasis are trying to save the Niyamgiri, this time from Adani. Earlier, they had waged a struggle to save Niyamgiri from Vedanta, and they had won. This time, now they have to fight this battle against the biggest and most powerful corporate house led by Adani, which is aided by this government. So, as we can see that we are amidst a struggle, and it's very easy to say for a person like me that democracy is dying. But for the workers of Noida, for the workers of Manesar, for the workers of Faridabad, and for the workers, industrial workers working in different parts of India, this is not an open and shut question. They are fighting for their rights, and this battle uh, to save their rights, to have their rights, and to exercise their rights is what makes democracy. Democracy is not only elections, and we know that now the government has found ways to manipulate elections and to ensure through different means. SIR is one, NPR would come, census is taking place, and delimitation would start. Through that, they are trying to manipulate election process. And the fear is that if all this happens, if SIR is allowed to continue as it is being done today, then uh, many of us won't be voters anymore, and the Supreme Court would refuse to intervene. So that is one. But democracy doesn't live only in elections. As I said, that democracy lives in these struggles. And we saw that despite all obstacles, despite defamation, and despite demonization, Muslims stood up, and and they launched the battle against CAA, and that was a very brave battle because they were facing prejudices, biases prevalent in the Hindu society against Muslims, a very loud media which was against the Muslims, uh, but they didn't give up, and and uh, and they sat in at least 220 protest spots across India. So that is what they did, and I would say uh, that they managed to save democracy while they were fighting that battle, and that was very important. Uh, People say that they didn't win. I don't agree with that because they pushed back the government, and the government could not frame the rules of CA for next 2 3 years, and that was no small victory. Then came the battle of the farmers of India, and uh, they camped when at the outskirts of Delhi, when they were not allowed to enter, and they were facing the might of the state, but they decided to face it, and they sat there, and they sat there for more than a year. More than 700 farmers lost their lives, but they didn't give up, and the government had to relent. It had to withdraw uh, those three bills or those three acts, which were brought in the name of reforming our farm sector. So all I'm trying to say that uh, what we see in India today is uh, is a life and death battle that democracy is waging against not only authoritarianism but majoritarianism. And these two terms, many times we confuse and we say that we are fighting against authoritarianism. But there is a difference between the two. Because when we fight against authoritarianism, normally we expect all sections of society to join this battle. Uh, Authoritarianism would affect all sections of society. But what we see in India is a majoritarian authoritarianism, which acts in the name of majority, that is Hindus, and it tries to persuade Hindus that it is acting to save their interests. And that is why it feels confident that it has the sanction of Hindus to do what it is doing. And it through laws like CAA, anti-conversion laws, anti-love jihad laws, uh, the so-called freedom of religion laws, which many states are enacting, the triple talaq, anti-triple talaq law, the anti-cow slaughter laws. They are trying to tell Hindus that what they are implementing in India is a Hindu way of life. And they are subjugating Muslims and Christians. They won't allow Christians to convert, they won't allow Christians to preach, they won't allow Christians to celebrate their festivals the way they want. Uh, and by doing this, by persecuting Christians and by persecuting Muslims, they are trying to tell Hindus that, well, now these people are under your thumb. So, this pleasure you have to have a whole population of Muslims and Christians under your subjugation. And in return of that, you give a sanction to do what we want to do with the natural resources of India or with the public resources of India. And that we will hand over to the corporates. So this is the phase we are in. It's a very difficult phase, as I said. The government seems to have succeeded in creating a Hindu common sense, which believes that Muslims have been historically and also in contemporary times uh, natural enemies of Hindus. Uh, the Hindu common sense feels that Christians are out to diminish their numbers. So it's all a game of numbers, because Christians through conversion would take away numbers, and Muslims through love jihad and other means would take away numbers. So the battle for this demos is on. Who would be this demos? Hindus are being made to believe that it's their right to represent this demos. And Muslims and Christians and others should live the way this Hindu demos decides. Uh, but as I can see and say very confidently, that Muslims have not given up their rights. Christians have not given up their rights. They are asserting it and they are fighting. The only question, and I don't have an answer for that, and I'm now, I think I have exhausted my time, is that whether we would be able to create a people, a solidarity, and whether we would be able to persuade a critical section of Hindus that their interest lies with the interest of Muslims and Christians. And they have to unite with Muslims and Christians to fight this democratic battle. Otherwise, they would be subjugated by this authoritarian regime, and they would be turned into an obedient populace. Uh, and 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 the agency that they had won, or they were given by the Constitution in 1949 or 1950, would be lost. So this is an open question. I don't know whether we would be able to do that or not, but this is a task before us. And this is something we just cannot turn our eyes away from. Uh, Thank you very much.
So thank you, Dr. Apurvanand. So now we have another 5 minutes for questions and clarifications. So you're welcome to ask any doubt if you have, any clarifications you have, please ask. Dr. Apurvanand is available here.
Good evening.
Yes.
I'm Sister Sagai Teresa from Tamil Nadu. Thank you for a great enlightenment. It is my doubt only. We cannot find a solution for it, but still the torture is going for the minority people. Whatever we CRA or national CRA, we come together. How we can show the solidarity for the people who are persecuted. Even the priests are beaten last year, and the sisters have no security for that. We blame one another. Whether the Muslim issue comes, then we blame the other brothers and sisters. So how we can strengthen this unity by giving a lecture, practical things, there are many things. How we can bring a solidarity together when the issues comes. Then only they will get that the unity is a great strength. Somewhere we are lacking that. How in the future we can strengthen ourselves. That is my just not a doubt, but how we can improve ourselves. That is my concern. Thank you very much.
Should we take one or two more questions and then?
Yeah. Anyone else? Anybody here? Please unmute and ask the question.
What I'd like to ask is about getting the Hindu population on board with us in solidarity. What surprises me is that it seems like the intelligentsia among them seem to be towing the RSS or the BJP line. That's something I'm surprised about. How I would understand if it's the uneducated, but so many among the intelligentsia, so many professionals seem, because that's what we pick up in encounters with educated Hindus. I'm surprised about that. Just want to express that.
I'm Father Jacob. Hello.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
Father.
Yes.
I too have the same question. How do we win over a sizable section of the Hindus to speak for the rights of people?
Father Jacob, can you repeat that once again? Because in between there was a break of voice.
See, the same question sister asked. Same question. How do we win over a sizable section of the Hindus?
So, should I respond to these three questions?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, this is a huge challenge. And I think one of the first steps that we need to take is should come from the political parties. Because political parties have understood that democracy is all about winning votes and to mobilize majority. And therefore they don't want to disturb, or they don't want to upset the Hindu mindset. Excuse me. They don't want to upset or disturb the Hindu common sense. So they play along. I think the political parties, I'm trying to say. Now, that is why I say that it's for the political parties to to show courage and tell their constituents, most of the majority of them happen to be Hindus, that what is being done to Muslims and Christians is wrong. They need to take a clear stand. When churches are demolished, or when churches are vandalized, when priests are beaten up or arrested, when prayers are broken, as I told you from the account that I read this morning, when vandals enter houses of Christians and break their birthday parties, uh, I think political parties need to take a stand, and they need to speak daily to their constituents that all this is wrong. It takes courage, but they do need to do that. They have stopped talking about it, and that is why there is only one voice, the voice of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, and others seem to concur with the views of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. Unless they start challenging that, Hindus won't start rethinking, or there won't be a process of introspection in Hindus. That is how I see it. I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, but at least a beginning can be made this way. So far as the question of how intelligentsia got affected, please don't think that people who have degrees are enlightened. I talked about the Hindu common sense, and that Hindu common sense is prevalent in all sections of Hindus, whether they are illiterates or literate, graduates, postgraduates, doctors or scientists. All of them have this Hindu common sense, which sees Muslims in a different light and Christians in a different light. So please don't think that intelligentsia is an entity which is very enlightened.
Can I speak, please?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Yes.
I am Sister Florine, ICM. I am in Sarnath. So, in this situation, what we are doing here, there's a group of NGOs and people's movement people have come together. Any issue, common issues, we take up and we go ahead. There's a lot of relationship between us, Christians and Muslims and Hindus. So I feel in everywhere we not only wait for the politicians to take a stand, we also have to take a stand to enter into people's life, so that we can make in different places, different groups like this. Then surely the RSS cannot succeed. There will be a way. This is one of the way I find it is good. Thank you.
I agree with you completely. I think what the RSS is trying to do is to create a distance between Hindus and Muslims and Hindus and Christians.
Yes.
And there were earlier attempts of bringing Christians and Hindus and Hindus and Muslims together, but now we don't see those attempts. Now even the utterance of the term Sarva Dharma Sambhav is rare. We don't, people now don't use this Sarva Dharma Sambhav thing. So we need attempts, we need events, we need activities which would
Yes.
bring Hindus and Christians and Muslims together
Yes.
to see each other's face. Unless we see each other, unless we live in proximity with each other, we won't be able to see each other as human. It would be very easy for RSS to dehumanize Muslims and Christians. And that is what they are doing. That they are not human, they are not like us. And therefore, we should be allowed to do what we are doing to them. This is a very difficult process. And since we have not given attention to it, to create common spaces where we participate in each other's lives. This has not been done consciously. Now I think it's high time we did it. So I agree with you completely, sister. Yeah.
Okay, so we have the last question from Brother Varghese. Brother Varghese, unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Prema, and thank you, Professor Apurvanand, for that very succinct analysis of the situation of our country today. But then you talked about majoritarian authoritarianism that is working on handing over the resources and the commons of our nation to a few selected corporates and other interested parties. I'm from Hyderabad, and Telangana is being ruled by the Congress party. The only difference I see between those states that are being ruled by the BJP and the Congress is that majoritarianism perhaps is not a card they play with so much, but authoritarianism and handing over the resources of this country is, in other words, the bottom line, the agenda seems to be the same across political parties. We saw that even in Kerala, even during the LDF time. Here we are fighting battles. Musi River project that I have been battling for the last 30 years. It is to displace 130,000 people. And it is just a land grab. We are fighting the future city that threatens to displace thousands of farmers from their farmlands. And all these during this Congress regime. So in other words, political parties accept that the only difference seems to be that the BJP is making the majoritarianism their anchor. But the agenda of all political parties seem to be the same. So how do we depend on the opposition parties to play a fair game, to protect democracy? Who do we fall back on? I don't know if my analysis is true as far as the political opposition parties are concerned, but this is our experience. What would you comment, Doctor?
I don't disagree with you. I've spoken to my friends in Telangana, and they have told me stories which I think you indicated the way Telangana is going. Not only in the matter of handing over commons and natural resources or other resources, but also in matters of communal relations. Telangana is not much better than the BJP ruled states. And that is a problem with which we find with all political parties of India, because they are not free from these two things, this Hindu mindset, and the second, a general agreement over how economy would work. And they get very impatient, and that's how the way they deal with farmers movement or other protests are the same, tribals or farmers, with be they BJP ruled states or Congress ruled states. And this is something we have been telling the opposition parties for a very long time, that they need to spell out their economic policies clearly, because when they were in power in Chhattisgarh, we knew that they were handing over Hasde Varanya to Adani. some attempts were made to stall that in Odisha too. So this is an unresolved question, and we need to keep pressurizing the opposition parties on this, and pressurizing them to take a very clear stand on these issues related to economy and to social relations. This is not an answer. I share your views, and I know that it's not easy, because there is an agreement that this is how country's economy should be conducted.
Yeah. So thank you for the response. Definitely, no response is complete in itself. We know that we do not have, there is a scarcity of politicians, leadership, leaders with integrity and democratic vision. We have another person, Anu, saying that doctor said we have to come together through activity. So I would like to ask which type of activities where we can gather with our brethren. This is the last concern that we are going to raise, and after this we will get to the plenary session. Yeah, doctor, if you want to respond to that, can you see it is in the chat?
Okay. I can't see the chat, but
Okay, that is that.
you read it, no? You
We
read
have
it.
to come together through activities. So I would like to ask which
So
type of activities?
I was wondering what kind of activities, or what with type of activities. I go back to 20s and 30s of the last century, when Hindu-Muslim relations were in very, very bad shape, and we had incidents of Hindu violence, Hindus and Muslims, regularly, frequently. And that was the time when Hindu leaders and Muslim leaders thought of having Hindu-Muslim Sadbhavana Sabhas. And our great writer Premchand kept writing about those Sadbhavana Sabhas. The conferences where Hindus and Muslims would meet, people who are active in the field of theology, people who manage religious places, and common people, common Hindus and Muslims. They would come together, they would talk to each other, and it had become a very regular activity in the society. I wonder whether we need to start doing that. Start doing it. It looks contrived sometimes. It looks artificial. But when there is a force which is trying to tear ourselves, Hindus away from Muslims and Hindus away from Christians, then we need to make conscious effort to bring them together. We need to think imaginatively about events, activities where Hindus, Muslim, Christians can come together. There cannot be one prescription for the whole country. We can think imaginatively, taking our local features, local unique aspects in mind, and have these common. We need to, I would say, create common spaces. That is all I can say. But it again, we need different kinds of imaginations to do this. As I said, that creating hatred, creating distance doesn't require much effort. It just taps into the hidden biases that sleep under our skin, and to titillate them and wake them up. But to create understanding requires lot of effort, lot of imagination, and we have not applied our mind to it. I think we are already too late, but we need to start doing that.
Thank you, Dr. Apurvanand, for clarifying the doubts of the audience. Now over to you, Brother Sunil.
Yeah, thank you, Prema. The questions are finished, but where what happened? Oh, stop share. Where did it go? It came over here. Just 1 second. I just want to share something. Okay, so we had a very powerful and enriching session with Dr. Apurvanand. And Dr. Apurvanand has shared a question for us for discussion. Dr. Apurvanand, would you like to say a little bit about it? Your question that you offered to me was, and for discussion was, should we be tolerant or accommodating? Would you like to say a little bit about that, Doctor?
But this was a question given to you that we need to think about it. What do we mean when we say that we need to be tolerant? And what do we mean when we say that we need to be accommodative? So Sister Manju had asked me to give a question to the participants, and they will come up with answers, and then we'll discuss. So this was a question addressed to you, that what do you think? Uh, how do you take this?
Okay, so let's stay with that. We heard Dr. Apurvanand saying a little bit about the question, and let us be mystified by it, and let us see what thoughts come. So we're going to have a breakout group session. The question is in front of you: should we be tolerant or accommodating? And in light of what we heard today and our theme of subversion of democracy, let's see what sort of responses come in terms of practical steps to this question. So you will directly go into your breakout room just now, and after just saying hello to whoever is there, have somebody who can very quickly in the plenary session report to us in very brief just two practical steps of what emerged, not all the discussion, but just two practical steps of what emerged. So some general things to be mindful about. Number one is if a message comes, join room, please accept it, and you will be automatically back in 15 minutes. Now, it will happen that many will not unmute themselves or turn their video on, etc., etc. Don't feel discouraged if others are quiet or they are slow to respond. Everybody can unmute themselves. So if they're not unmuting themselves, okay, they have decided to do that. Even if they're just two of you, continue with your discussion. Don't let that bother you, because these conversations are very, very important. And only if you're alone, you come back. Now, so all of this itself, this breakout room conversations, is a new experience, and some may be unfamiliar, but don't leave, please. Don't leave. Sometimes what happens is we are too accustomed to just hear homilies, and then we think we have finished what is necessary. But we want to turn what we've heard to action. So please stay, discuss, listen to what the whole group feels. And the discussion and the action is as important as the talk. So thank you for your cooperation and your participation. And now we are ready to go into our breakout rooms. So
one question, sorry.
yes, go ahead.
Ah, नहीं करते। तो हम नहीं करेंगे। उसी को कनेक्ट करें। नहीं करें तो 20 लिखिए और नहीं करते। हाँ कितना करते हैं? 18,000 ऊपर है, 18,000 ऊपर, 18,000 ऊपर वीडियो सब। हाँ थैंक यू। हम सेंड कर देते हैं। कहाँ गए? दिखाई दे रहा है। गाड़ी बिगड़ा। चला चला सब 2022 की 23 में गई सर्विस और ये सबका ये लाइसेंस लाइसेंस नहीं इंश्योरेंस
You didn't join any breakout room?
No, I could not join because it was getting.
Discussion. This discussion can be done in according to me, this discussion can be done in local level also in national level also. That is up to us
Yes.
to do.
Mm. Okay,
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
group discussion is over, isn't it?
Okay.
Just now we are joined to the main group.
That's right. You've joined the bigger group. So I think almost everybody is here from the breakout room sessions. I did get a chance to go into some rooms, especially when I picked up from the indicators that there was nothing going on. So I went to at least 3 rooms where there was silent adoration going on. But all the other groups, there was a lot of discussion going on, which was very, very good. So that's part of our learning curve. But now we're going to welcome some of the ideas, the practical ideas that came from your discussions. So keep it short and speak a little bit with clarity about the idea itself. Yeah, so over to you. All of you can unmute yourselves still. And if there is some noise, then we will sort of see what to do. But you can unmute yourself, and so please do that and share as to what are some of the practical actions that emerged from your discussions. Over to you.
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is Wilson, from Cochin. In our group, we are 14. Unfortunately, three of us were speaking. First thing what was emerged was that, as Doctor was saying, the majoritarian authoritarianism, which making the people to play the victim card and making the getting the wealth of the country be given to vested interests. In that's the main problem. And this the attacking of minorities are not the thing what they want to do. They want to do this one for this agenda. The persecution is happening. So what happened is that we are a frightened community, and at the same time we are afraid or concerned about safeguarding our interests, our institutions, and our communities. We are afraid of that. If we do something, if we speak something, there will be attack for our institutions. That's it. We don't speak. So that expecting the political parties to speak up, we are the people to speak up first. That was one thing we had. The suggestions they were saying that we can come together in maybe together with other congregations nearby, and we can have programs and have dialogues, and can invite people. These all things are that we are doing for long time. That's one thing. But one thing more, what we spoke was that today is the time of social media. We all use social media, but at the time a big impact. How we educate these people, this is happening. How much of our social media accounts we use for making this kind of posts or reels about what is the real thing the government is doing. We are afraid. My social media account may be banned. I may be arrested. This is the fear. But suppose if a thousand people from each city start doing this, then this thing will go into the common people, and that they will be educated. This is what we have to do. We have to start using our social media accounts, and where we will be posting or making the people to get aware of these things. That should be the first thing we can do.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Wilson, for alerting us and reminding us on the power of social media and how to leverage it. Okay. Anybody else? you can raise your hand. There is that option there, so we know that you are next in line as well. You can put in the chat in case you are not comfortable to speak. All those options are available, but you can also unmute yourself and speak.
So I am Shaila. We were in the room number 9. We were 11 in our group.
Can you put your video on, sister?
I am unable to do it.
Okay, fine. Carry on.
I don't know. Some system has
What is your name? What's your name?
I am Sister Shaila, Nirmala's sister from Hyderabad province.
Please, we'll change your. It looks very awkward to see a number in front of your on front of the screen. Okay, Sister Shaila. Okay, carry on, Sister Shaila.
Okay, we were 9, as I said, in the 9th room, and we were 11 in our group. Few of us, we talked to Brother Jacob and Sister Manchu. What we have said, first of all, that tolerant, that word itself will help, it indicates helplessness. And accommodative, this is the term, it is coming to compromise. So this both cannot be, because we need to talk. That's what we were speaking about. Then what we are, first of all, we thought is, being democratic secularism country, what we have to do is making among ourselves to be aware of the things what is happening. First of all, that is not there. Some are very ignorant, only as the first group said, only thinking of their own institutions, what to do within, like, routine way of doing things, not coming out of themselves. So we also talk about how we can make known through network with others, and support others, and to take in our own chapters these are kind of issues. So this is what we have discussed. Anything to be shared? If Sister Manchu and Jacob can help me.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Sister Shaila. That was very good. Okay, over to you, Sister Nancy.
Yeah, I'm from group number 6. One of the things we questioned was, what do we mean by tolerating? Tolerate what? It has a negative connotation. We feel in this context, what we are called to be or do is be alert and conscious and respond proactively. We see the need of getting involved and engaging with people, building solidarity networks. We see the need of being inclusive, meeting people across all religious lines, making space for all. The more, I think the more we engage and build networks, we get people on board. We make ourselves understood to each other. Another point that came up, as a group, we deplored that we are a silent group. We as religious tend to respond to problems and difficulties with prayer. We say, let's pray for whatever comes up. But that was not what Jesus did. He never called people to pray. Jesus took action. We have a tendency to take shelter in prayer, which is something we need to confront and address as religious particularly. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sister Nancy, for highlighting the fact that we usually love to take this vow of silence when we need to really speak. We need to keep quiet when it's near sometimes, but when we need to speak, we need to speak, and we sometimes never speak. At least for the people who don't have a voice. Sister Vinita, would you like to say something?
Sunil, there is something in the chat as well. Okay, check it.
Yeah, that's fine. Sister Vinita, you want to say something?
Brother, in our group has shared that we need to become politically active in movement that speak and accept truth,
seek goodness, and be present there with the people. Said, join in dialogue with others to inform and bring more people into dialogue, to analyze the situation today and find the whole truth. Then we need to take initiative to promote a dialogue in solidarity with others. Someone else said, separate persons from opinion. That means we need to respect someone's right to speak without agreeing with what they say. Then become. These are the few points that came in our group.
Okay, thank you, Sister Vanita. That was good. Many, a lot of diversity and many points there. Okay, anybody else would like to share as well? In the meantime, we can also, I'll just go to the chat and I'll maybe share from theirs. Father Anand says, unfortunately, we Christians are gripped by fear, which results in silence and indifference. We heard something like that. God says in the Bible many times, do not be afraid, but we are the last and the least ones to have courage. We permanently stay under the grim shadow of fear. And yeah, anybody else would like to share what was in your group?
Brito?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, it's Brother Amalan is from room number 8.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have just two aspects to
Please,
share
can
with
you put
you.
your video on, brother? Can you
Oh,
put your
sorry,
video
sorry.
on, please? Nice.
So, of course, we were very few in the group. A group of sisters that shared to participate in any rally or protest movement. Secondly, to have solidarity with any affected community, whether they be Hindus, Christians, or Muslims, ultimately working for the humanity, not based on any religious, but all those who are affected, we need to fight for their rights. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Father. Brother, sorry.
Number 5.
Yeah, yes, Anujoti, please. Can you put your video on if it's possible?
Not working. It's not working, Father, brother.
Okay, okay, okay. Where are you from, sister?
Anujoti Barasat.
Okay, okay. Which congregation?
AC.
Okay, okay, great. Okay, please go ahead, sister.
Father, in our group, we discussed that first of all, we have an agreement to come together for a peaceful meeting, and we take the courage to speak and speak whatever we say, we speak prudently. And we come together to find a solution for the problem that we are facing, what can be done. We also meet the people like various groups. If there are Bajrang Dal, BHPs, or any other groups along with our Catholic Christian leaders. And then we discuss more on
Okay, go ahead, sister. There was some disturbance.
Our problems we discuss is based more on human values rather than religion, what concerns everybody in the area. This is what we discussed in the group.
Okay, that was an interesting thing. You all were thinking of bringing some of the right-wing leaders also in your discussions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, that was interesting to have, to be in your group, and I've heard all of that going on. Good. Anybody else?
One more person, Sister Lizzie from Hyderabad.
Go ahead,
just heard that we should be in solidarity, we should participate. I think tomorrow is one of the best day when the CJP party is, the youth are there protesting. Can those in Delhi participate in that? No, it would be a solidarity, joining the solidarity and also showing our courage. We are not afraid. I think our rights are being taken away one by one. So there is a need for us to be courageous and joining. Yes, I am going to participate. So I am inviting others also, those who are here.
You're based in Delhi, sister?
I'm based in
you.
Hyderabad, but I came
We
to
can't see
Delhi for a
your,
program.
yeah, we can't see your video.
Yeah,
Good,
I
good.
don't want to, I'm not in a position.
Okay, okay. It's okay.
Many of you, I am Sister Lizzie. Yes.
Okay, hello, Sister Lizzie. Okay, okay. Good.
I would add to Sister Lizzie what she said. I would support that, and I would say that in the coming days there will be programs in many other cities all over the country in support of this. And can we join them, or can we organize? We had in Varanasi today a full day hunger strike, and on Friday a candlelight march for the same cause. I think we need to organize this again and again in different parts of the country. All can't go to Delhi. Of course, what's going to happen tomorrow in Delhi is very important. They're going to march towards the parliament. But in our own way, symbolically, as well as bringing together people, is important. And we become catalysts in our own villages, towns, and cities. I think that's important.
Thank you, Father Anand. Okay, so I think we have heard from the group. Over to you, Sister Prema. We can move on with the program. We're already running.
Yeah. We are a bit late because we had been waiting for everyone to join, but we had a good discussion, at least to invigorate us and to say that we need to do something. So now over to you, Brother Amalin, FSC, the former National CRI President.
Prema,
For the
Prema, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Prema, 1 minute before. Doctor is still there. We could listen to him.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Dr. Aburvanand, please, if you can respond to all what we have shared in a brief. Dr.
Thank you very
Aburvanand.
much for
I'm sorry.
for sparing your time to think about these two issues, but it went beyond that, and that was the idea. Because we have many terms. I was talking about the making of the demos, which is fundamental to democracy. RSS is trying to mold demos in the shape of its own idea of Hinduness. That is what it's trying to do. And challenge before us is to create different kind of demos, which would have diversity writ large on its face. That is the challenge, and that's why we use these terms, and like tolerance or accommodation. Then there is another term like acceptance. Then there is hospitality. You can also use the term welcome. You can say engagement, as one of the friends said, that we need to engage with each other. Then there is another term, participate, whether we participate in each other's lives or not. And it's not a question of religion only, because religion, as I said, that religious marker is being used to create a demos, and is the easiest part. It's a mystery, but it's a fact that when you ask someone to introduce themselves, they will automatically tell you whether they are Hindu or Muslim or Christian. That is how we are programmed. And political forces which try to create a demos use this default programming in our mind, and then they use this religious marker to create a majority. And that is what we need to break. How to break is the challenge, and that's why I propose these two terms, tolerance and accommodation. Because we are human beings, and all of us know that we have our biases, we have our prejudices, we have our likes, we have our dislikes. There are certain smells, certain tastes, which are not available to us as part of our upbringing. So what do we do when we are confronted with that? A smell which we have never smelled. How do we deal with it? Some food which is brought on the table, we are sitting, and across the table is someone who is going to eat that food. How are we going to respond to that? This is, of course, the minimum, that is tolerance. We are going to tolerate, even if we don't accept it. We are not going to eat that food, and we are not very comfortable with the smell, but we will tolerate it. This is the basic, I would say, the minimum that is required from us, because we cannot accommodate everything. That is also our human limitation. But we need to move from tolerance to accommodation to hospitality to participation, engagement to participation, where we create a community in which we share the same table for different kinds of food. We have people with different kinds of dresses among us, and we don't turn our nose or make faces on the people that is there. And all of this requires effort. And it is also a process through which we make democracy. But since we have stopped doing it, we don't do it. You talked about taking stand, speaking out on issues which don't concern us directly, but can we speak out on that issue? You talked about protests or solidarity marches for what is happening at Jantar Mantar. So can sisters and fathers and others take out march or do a sit-in in their support? That creates a visual, and that is something we need to think about, how to move from tolerance, accommodation to participation, engagement, hospitality. So that is what the challenge before me is, and I think that is the challenge before all of us is as a society, to make this society. I think it would be joy to participate in this battle. We are up against odds, and there are obstacles, there are stereotypes which are very hard to break. But then this is the challenge. This is the joy of the challenge, because now we have very hardened stereotypes before us, and our success would depend on whether we are able to break it or not. So that is all I have to say as my response to what was offered as your comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Apurvanand, for giving us very practical suggestions. And now we shall also listen to Brother Amalan for his concluding remark. Brother Amalan, over to you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. And I'd just like to summarize in a few lines what we heard from Dr. Apurvanand. He started that democracy is dying or demolished or murdered, but he also narrated, give a lot of empirical incidents where unwarranted things are happening and people fighting for life and death, battle against majoritarian authoritism. And he also portrayed RSS trying to dehumanize Muslims and Hindus, and this is not really understood or taken up by the Hindus. So he also spoke about the political parties may not really do anything on this because they are much worried about the vote banks, and they are particular about getting votes and coming to power. So in this situation, some of those sharing that we received very practical things. And to conclude, I just like to say Recovery, I'm more on what is the road to recovery. Recovery is not a slogan, it is a daily boring and unglamorous work, and it rests on few pillars like rebuilding institutions, not just replace the people. Secondly, reconnect policies to people. We need to defend the information commons. And lastly, and most important, is the civic courage. Rights that are not exercised are rights that are lost. Recovery demands citizens who vote, who protest peacefully, who run for local office, who fact check because before they forward, who teach their children that disagreement is not enmity, democracy is not a spectator sport. So on the people here, the future of democracy is not in the hands of the past leaders. It is in our hands. Every time we choose facts over rumors, dialogue over abuse, participation over apathy, we are doing recovery work. So to conclude, Winston Churchill once said, democracy is the worst form of government except for all those of other forms that have been tried. So it is slow, it is messy, it is frustrating, but it is the only system that assumes we are capable of self-correction. The subversion of democracy tells us we are weak. The road to recovery proves we are not. Democracy is not something that we have, it is something we do every day. So let us leave here not with a despair about what has been broken, but with a responsibility for what can be rebuilt. Because if you do not save the democracy, no one will do it for us. And if we do, no one can stop us. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Brother Amalan,
Yeah.
for your concluding remark. Let's build it together, India, once again.
Yes.
And so we are already late, so I invite
Yes.
Father Devasi SDB, the Secretary of Forum of Religious for Justice and Peace. Father Devasi, over to you. Father Devasi, are you there?
Okay. I have managed to unmute myself. I shall not thank you. No, suddenly I forgot your name. Suddenly, Prema, thank you for the invitation. I shall not be very long. I think our resource person, in compliance with his name, Apurvanand, has been a very rare person who has stood up for his democratic rights and has encouraged us or enlightened us on our duties as democracy is failing, what we have to do. So I think we have to give a big thank you to Professor Apurvanand for enlightening us and willing to share his time and energy with us. So thank you, Professor Apurvanand. Big thank you to you for sharing your time and knowledge with us. Next, I would like to thank Manju, who has been silently working for this, making it a success. It's a long time she has been at it and getting it coordinated. Then I must thank Sunil for his technical assistance and sharing the Zoom facility he has, and also making sure the whole meeting went on very smoothly without much trouble. Then thank you, Prema, for moderating this session. Then I must thank Nancy for the prayer and Anand for welcoming all of us. And Brother Amalan for his concluding remarks. And once again, thanks to all the participants. Maybe some of them were not able to enter, or some of them were not able to participate fully due to some technical problems at their end. And once again, I would like to thank everyone involved for their share, for being present and being part of the whole session. Thank you very much. I hope I have not left out anybody. If anybody is left out, please let me know. Okay?
You are left the one who thanked. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much.
So thank you, everyone. So here
Thank
we
you.
conclude this webinar on subversion of democracy, causes, consequences, and the road to recovery. Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
everyone.
Good night.
Thank you very much, Thank you very much, Dr. Apurvanand, for making time for us. You are so much engaged with so many things. In spite of that,
Thank
you
you
made
for
it.
having me here. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Manju. You're done so well. Thank you,
Thank you.
Sunil,
Thanks to
Prema, everybody in the group.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Good night. Good night.
Good night to all of you.
actually, the link created some problem. Otherwise, there would have been more participants.
What happened? The ID and
Yeah, I myself
the-
could not join actually for a long time. Then I was so much concerned because Apurvanand, how to send, he doesn't manage with WhatsApp also. So I was in the beginning really panic.
Okay.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Yeah, bye. Yeah, bye.
Bye. Thank you,
Thank you.
Sunil. Thanks a lot.